What's up guys, it's Kamahley here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how pro players position their keyboard and mouse, and as well how you can find a way to position your keyboard and mouse. And if you're new to this channel, it'll really help me out if you drop a like and a sub. Also, to support me, use credit code Kamahley in the item shop. And without further ado, let's get in the video. What's up guys, and as you guys know, there's a lot of different factors that can alter your gaming experience. Now, a really underrated factor that can really differ the way you play is definitely going to be your keyboard position. Now, when you talk about keyboard positions, you also have to talk about the posture that you sit in, because it should also depend on how you hold your keyboard. Now, being in a good position can not only help you increase your gaming performance, but also help you increase your health. I've seen a lot of gaming positions though, and somehow I don't know how these people are alive or their hands aren't broken. Now, in the past, when I would sort of make videos like these, I would take the top 10 players from Power Rankings, EU and NA, but not everyone streams, so I can't tell what their keyboard positioning is. So instead, I just took 5 pros / streamers on Twitch just to show you guys some examples of what other people use and how you can possibly change your keyboard positioning accordingly. So the first pro player we're going to be talking about, guys, is going to be the World Cup winner Bugha. Now, when he first started using his keyboard and mouse, he was actually the first person that I've ever seen to use his keyboard in a perfect straight position. What I mean by this is every other Fortnite player that I've watched with a keyboard cam, they always had their keyboard at least a little bit tilted. He had his completely straight. I don't know if it had something to do with his wrist or the way he was sitting. But now, whenever Bugha uses his keyboard, he tilts it a little bit more up on the right side. I can also tell that his hands is also closer together because of how close his mouse is to his keyboard. It's actually so close that it gives me anxiety because I keep thinking that every time he swipes his mouse really hard one day, he's just gonna slam it straight into his keyboard, and I know what that feeling is like. Not a lot of other streamers have their keyboard cam with their body cam, but Bugha does, and you can also tell that when he plays, he has really good posture. It's like he almost works on fixing his posture before he sits in his chair. It's actually really good, and I really think he's a good example of getting a good positioning. The second player I'm going to be showing is mongraal, and I'm sure a lot of you guys already seen his keyboard cams, and you guys all know how crazy it looks. Now, when I first used to look at mongraal's keyboard cam, I used to always think that his keyboard was perfectly vertical, but that's actually not the case. It actually doesn't go all the way down vertical to where it would just be a whole full 90 degrees. It's almost there, but it's not fully there yet. But honestly, I think him just not putting it fully vertically and having that little layaway is the reason between his wrist breaking or not. Now, I don't mean actually breaking, but I tried it fully vertically before, and then you have to like really turn your wrist all the way around, and I really think that hurts. But I guarantee someone plays like that and they have a different position where they sit to where it doesn't hurt that bad. Now, I do believe mongraal has a reasoning for having his keyboard like this. I don't think he just woke up one day and randomly wanted to do it. And most likely his reason for doing it is because mongraal always had bigger keyboards. I have never seen mongraal with a 60% keyboard. I've seen him with mostly 100% the most of the times he had a keyboard, and now he just moved to a TKL. But he's always had a bigger keyboard, and if you know, mongraal does play low sense, so he needs all the space his mouse can get. Now, having your keyboard positioned like this, you definitely have to have some different type of keybinds. Now, the reason I say this is because when you have your hand like that, it's really hard to press some buttons, and this might also be the reason why mongraal doesn't use too many number keybinds. Because I also tried to press a number keybind with my hand like this, and it does feel kind of hard. The third player I'm going to be showing you guys is clix. Now, it was kind of hard doing clix because I couldn't figure out what his keyboard positioning really was because of how awkward his camera angle looked at his keyboard. But then I finally found an old clip and I kind of just pieced it together at how it is. So he uses his keyboard more down towards him, and then he has it positioned where it's laying down from the right side, and then his mouse is positioned up above his keyboard. This is actually one of the most common positions that I see most people use. They always have like their keyboard down on the low and then their mouse up high, and it just looks like they have so much mouse room because their keyboard is so much lower than their mouse. Or vice versa, where their keyboard is more up and their mouse is more below. So clix is really good in the position because I did look at his posture when he's sitting down. He doesn't have that bad of a posture. He does happen to have what people call a nerd neck, and it's where you like lean your neck forward when you're playing. And I do have this too. I'll either lean my neck forward or I lean my whole body forward, but I know I'm not supposed to and I'm trying to get used to it. But if you do this and it is trying to hurt like your body or your neck, you should just move your monitor closer to you. Now, the fourth player we're going to be talking about is the EU player, mrsavage. Now, the way mrsavage positions his keyboard is he has it all the way up to almost the top of his mouse pad. That means his monitor is kind of far back. And he has what I was talking about, the opposite of clix, where you have your keyboard above and then you'd have your mouse more below. This is kind of how I play. Now, mrsavage gives me a really good example when I'm talking about positioning. If you guys notice that mrsavage has really long arms, and it's why he doesn't have his keyboard like how clix is, where he has his all the way below. He would have his keyboard more far ahead of him so that he has his arm in a good position. Instead of him bending his arm, he has his arm fully forward, and I can just imagine that that's really comfortable. When it comes to his posture, he also leans forwards too. I'm pretty sure the only player I see that has like a really good posture that doesn't really lean forward is Bugha. Everybody else always leans forward a little bit. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's body is the same, but it could have effects on you when you get older. Now guys, of course the last person I'm going to be talking about is the most clouded Fortnite streamer on Twitch, and it's gonna be Tfue. Now, I know when I said about Bugha, about him having like a really straight keyboard when he first started off, but Tfue's keyboard is basically straight. It's not fully, it's like a little tiny bit slanted, but you might as well just say he has a straight keyboard. I also noticed that once in a while he'll start to tilt it a little bit more. I'm not sure why Tfue does this, but maybe he's also trying to get used to a new keyboard position. He's been using it mostly straight for like a really long time. When it comes to Tfue's keyboard and mouse setup, it's not really any limitations because he has one of the biggest desks I've ever seen. I mean, I know he has it because he has a really low sense, but I know that his arm does not reach all the way down there. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure for his arm to reach the other end of his desk, he'll most likely have to like move his chair over also. Alright guys, so now that you guys seen most of your favorite pro players or streamers setup, it's time to figure out what you would like for yourself. Now, obviously stuff like this is personal preference, but I'm just going to give you guys a little bit tips so it's a little bit more easier for you if you still can't find the right spot. Now, let's say you have a really big keyboard, but you didn't have that much mouse room. Most of the times, you want to put your keyboard more down, kind of like Mongraal's keyboard, or not too much like his, but just a little bit more down than a normal keyboard. Also, I guess up could work, but I think that would be really uncomfortable, and I don't really see anybody putting their keyboard like all the way up. Now let's say you do have a 100% keyboard and you have a lot of mouse space. Just try your best not to have your mouse and your keyboard perfectly in line. The reason I said this is, say you're swiping and you swipe over and then you accidentally hit your keyboard. I think the best thing is, unless you have your arms really far apart, is to have your mouse either a little bit below the keyboard or a little bit above the keyboard. Now, if you have a 60% keyboard, I really don't think you need to angle it as low as Mongraal's, but you can angle it what it feels best to you, since it is really adjustable to have a 60% keyboard. Let's talk about your arm length and how you want to use it. So remember how I showed you guys about mrsavage, how his arm was all the way up? If you have short arms, you're probably going to have your keyboard a little bit closer to you, and if you have longer arms, you're most likely going to have your keyboard more above you. Now, if your keyboard is like this, I told you guys already, it's better to either have your mouse below or above. Now, when you have a TKL keyboard, it kind of differs. Like, you can also do what Mongraal does because he does also have a TKL, or you can just have it slanted just like every regular normal keyboard. But let's say you have a really low sense, but you don't have that much mouse room, then you can put your keyboard at a really low tilt. If you do have enough mouse room or you are in high sense, then there's not really any need to angle your keyboard all the way down. Because again, normally when you put your keyboard angled at low, you do have to change some binds so your hand is more optimized for those key binds. Now, I know a lot of you guys probably won't care about this because I even really sit bad and I'm trying to improve it myself, but it's just before you try fixing your keyboard, make sure you have a really good posture in your chair. Because I really don't want you guys to end up growing up and being built like Smeagol. So all in all guys, if you are going to copy your favorite pro player's setup, which I don't really recommend, but if you do, don't copy exactly your favorite pro players, maybe copy someone with the similar setup as you. Also, take in conclusion your own health and your posture. If you're doing any of these and your wrist starts to hurt, make sure you switch it up because you do not want to get carpal tunnel. And just try to find the right position according to your keyboard size, your mouse space, and how you want to have your key binds. And a thought to keep in mind, that whenever you're looking forward, this is what you look like. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if that helped or you enjoyed, don't forget to drop a like or drop a sub. Also, don't forget to use code Kamahley in the item shop. It's Kamahley.